morning and welcome to another episode of Defining Your Health. I'll be your host for today, Tracy Lewis. And as you can see, we're talking about the benefits of breastfeeding. We want to encourage you, our viewers, to share the link with your family and friends. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, or even if you're on channel 98. All right, so this morning I have with me Sister Tomasa Smith, who's returned with us. If I'm every woman was a person, there it is. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Sister Smith, just before we begin.
Well, my name is Tomasa Smith. I'm a wife and a mother of six children, five beautiful daughters, and one handsome son.
One handsome son.
And presently, I'm retired, so I'm involved mostly in church activities through women ministry and community work, teaching people from the community stuff to do, like
Okay.
sewing,
Oh, like sewing. Okay, but this morning you're here in a different
different
capacity
capacity.
to talk about breastfeeding. How did you get into this topic, this
Well,
journey?
I saw a ad.
An ad.
I applied for the job and I got the job as a breastfeeding counselor.
Mm-hmm.
At which time I didn't know anything, but being on the job, I was trained as a breastfeeding counselor, and I was privileged to go to the United States, to Nicaragua and Guatemala several times, so I could get trained in breastfeeding.
Okay, and did you enjoy it?
To the max.
How many years have you been doing this?
I worked from 92 to 95
Oh.
doing breastfeeding, after which I work with Breast is Best League. And after that closed, then I still working with Dr. Martinez and other, we were trainers, to work in the community. Well, then I still did it. I still do it up to now when I'm called. If somebody's having a problem and they call me, I will go to their home and take care of the breasts and the baby.
Wow, from 1992 up to this very moment,
Present,
you're still
yes.
getting calls.
Yes.
All right, so maybe you can share with us this morning what you do when you get those calls. Tell me what is breastfeeding? What is breastfeeding?
Well, breastfeeding is taking care of your baby.
Mhm.
Now, if a dog have a puppy, breastfeed.
Yes.
If a cat have a kitten, breastfeed. Cow, they all breastfeed. But when it comes to human, we need to be trained how to breastfeed, because sometimes we look at it and we say it should be natural, but it's not. And we find women have problems when the baby is born. Some women are scared because we have myths and we have facts.
Yeah.
And especially in today's day, the young people say, but it will hurt me. My friends say it hurt. So I have not breastfed a baby before, but it hurt me. So in my mind, and your mind is powerful. Always remember that. And breastfeeding is a psychological. Because if I tell myself it hurt, it hurts.
I'm glad that you said that because I'm one of those persons. I'm not a mother yet, but I have friends who tell me, they have a lot of horror stories. They have good stories that it's
Right.
comforting, it's soothing, you get to bond with the baby. But they also mention that they get what's the word you call it? It hurts
Hurts.
and
The nipple
sometimes
get cracked and
yes, correct. And so like it's mixed feelings there. So why would we encourage mothers to breastfeed this morning?
one, it's optimum health for your child.
Okay.
And it also helps with your body. Because when the child is breastfeeding and is latched on properly and is sucking on the breast, it also helps your womb to contract, to get back to normal very quickly. Back in the day when I was having children, they told us that's after pain, and then your body releases other things. But we realized today, after studying breastfeeding, I have realized that it's not after pain. It's part of the womb contracting to come back to normal. So breastfeeding is not only for the baby, it's also for you, the mother. But in order to breastfeed, you have to decide in your mind that when this baby is born, that I will breastfeed this baby. Because sometimes women may say, I can't breastfeed. I can't. And some people can't because they tell themselves that they can't. Also, too, some women they don't have regular nipples. Their nipples are inverted, and they take that to mean that they cannot breastfeed. But in reality, they can breastfeed.
Oh, that's interesting that you said it's a decision. It's a decision that you make before having the baby.
It should be before. It's easier.
Is there any way to prepare then, like even before the baby comes, like to prepare to breastfeed, or that's something that the preparation, the training happens when the baby is already here?
Well, when I was working as a breastfeeding counselor, I would visit the clinics and do talks and demonstration. No, I don't have baby right now, so I don't know if that is still happening. But if it's not happening, it will be something good for the
Mother.
clinics to continue, because I know for a fact that Carl Hushner Hospital is baby friendly, which means that they don't give supplements unless it's life threatening. But they do not use bottles. They feed them from little cups. Like we have little cups right there.
Okay.
They use little stuff like that. So it would be nice if mothers are prepared, because if they're mentally prepared, even the milk flows more and more freely.
So you said the breast milk is good for the baby. What's in the breast milk? Why is it good or better for the baby than regular milk?
It's human.
Okay.
It's human.
That's the first point.
That's the first point. God made it because the mother didn't have to do anything during pregnancy in order for that milk to get prepared in here. The body, this is how God made our bodies. Nobody can do that for us. Next thing, besides it's human milk, it's also good for the baby. When the baby is born, the first thing that comes from the mother's breast, you may have heard that mother say, this yellow thing, I look sticky. That is called colostrum. And that colostrum, we talk about COVID right now, vaccine. That's the baby's first vaccine.
Right.
That colostrum. When mothers didn't know way back then, like in the 80s and stuff, they used to squeeze it out and throw it away because it's yellow. And actually, they were throwing out the best part of it, the most important part, because when the baby is being fed colostrum and that goes through the body, the black stool that the baby have, even that washes everything right through, cleanse the baby. So that's like the baby first antibiotic right through to purify the whole body.
That's only in the beginning.
That's only in the beginning.
Couple days or
It comes as soon as the baby is born. It's already there. As soon as the baby is born, but that do not come in ounces. That come in droplets. So the baby must be put on the breast in order for the baby to get the colostrum. I cannot squeeze it and get,
okay.
I'll get a 2 ounce or a 3 ounce. No, it won't come like that. But if the baby get on it, the baby pull it out, which shows that when a baby is just born, like for an hour, doesn't need 2 ounces of milk to drink, because the colostrum will not come in 2 ounces. So that is another ingredient to know that when it comes and the baby, it goes through the body and the baby will sleep.
Oh, it puts them to sleep too. So as in everything. Okay, so the first thing is that it has in colostrum, so it has a vaccine and
the colostrum is there for like the first 3 days.
First 3 days. So if I decided, I don't know, late that I want to try breastfeeding like a week, it would be gone already?
It wouldn't be all gone, but the natural colostrum without the milk added to it would have been gone.
Okay.
But you will still get a few, because if you should pump the milk, you will see it looks yellow. So there will still be a little colostrum in there, but you won't get the potent colostrum that would have been there the first, the second, and the third day.
So that colostrum is yellow. Are there any signs like because I'm not a mother, I've never, how would I know if my milk is good enough for the baby? Like you told me I can expect to see yellow at first, and that's perfectly normal, but like is there any way for me to know if my milk is not healthy? Is it possible for my milk not to be healthy? I don't know.
Totally impossible. That milk healthy. That milk is healthy. God made it. And you see the breast, the way the breast is set up, it has the milk gland, it has the milk duct, It has the reservoir right there. The reservoir is set right underneath the dark area of the breast that is called the areola,
Uh-huh.
right there. And that is one of the reasons why we teach mothers how to position themselves in order to hold the breast for the baby to be fed.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
I want you to show me how to do that when we get back in the next half. But just before we get to some of those practical components, what about the mother? We spoke about the baby and the health benefits, and you said for the mother, it helps to close to
Contracting.
contract the womb. There any other benefits for the mother?
Of course, one of the first, or I said the second one is the mother get to bond with the baby.
Okay.
You spend time with the baby and she gets to know the baby. And another thing, remember the baby was living inside, now the baby is on the outside. So the bonding part is very important for the mother to bond with the baby. And it's a lovely feeling. I'm a mother of seven children. I gave birth seven times. And I know it's a good feeling.
So you breastfed other kids.
I breastfed all my kids, but just the last child was exclusively breastfed. Not totally, exclusively breastfed, meaning that breastfeeding the child for the first 6 months of his life didn't get anything except breast milk.
Anything, nothing else. They
Nothing
don't
else.
need anything else.
Nothing.
Not even water.
No,
Oh,
no
wow.
water. In every feeding, the child tastes water though.
Okay.
So that's why we don't have to put it in a bottle or a cup and give them.
So you breastfed your last child
So
exclusively.
exclusive.
How long is appropriate to breastfeed a child?
Well, this varies for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I believe 2 years is good enough.
Okay.
I see people breastfeed for up to 5 years. I wouldn't, but then some people does, and I'm not going to knock anybody though. But I think 2 years is a good enough time because when after you take the child off the breast at 6 months from exclusively breastfeed, you start introducing weaning foods, and weaning foods can be made at home.
Okay.
You don't have to go out and buy extra something to make. You start, for example, if you cook today, you made soup, you could give your child that same soup at 7 months. Just put it in a blender, blend it to like a paste where they would, you spoon feed them. Also, to you could also take a little bit of the breast milk and put it in the food. It will make the child
Okay.
even want it more.
I haven't heard about that one.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's good to know. Uh, how would you encourage mothers though, who are busy and who have a hectic schedule to make sure that they have practices where they could get breastfeeding in, or at least even the milk, because I noticed that a lot of mothers, it's not that they don't want to breastfeed, it's just like maybe it's time consuming. Like, what would you say in response to that? How do you encourage them to still breastfeed?
Well, I would encourage mothers that when they are on maternity leave, to start preparing themselves for when they go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I believe so most mothers work until almost time to have the baby so they could have the 3 month period at home with the baby. So let's say that mother has that 3 months period. So 2 weeks before you were ready to go back to work, you would start preparing the child to receive the same breast milk that you will pump while you're at home for like the time that you are at home for that 3 month period. I would advise that mother to, like, after the first month, to start storing the milk. Now, if the mother is exclusively breastfeeding, meaning she didn't take time out to put bottle or anything, she will be producing a lot of milk because the milk production comes by the baby suckling on the breast. The more the baby suckle the breast, the more milk the mother will produce. So she could start storing. The best way to get the milk is to pump, then feed. Pump, then feed. If you feed, then pump, you won't get the amount. But if you pump first, then feed, the production keeps going and it will go more. So while you feed, the baby is asleep and the breast is producing, pump,
One time.
bag. And when you bag it, you date it and you put the time. For example, today is Monday, the 5th of April, 8 o'clock. Put it there, put it in the freezer.
How long would it last? Like, I date it, I time it. How long can I keep it for?
Well, I noticed a latest study says 6 months.
Wow.
But when I was studying, I was taught that it could stay up to a year if it doesn't defrost. If it is defrost, you can either use it or throw it out.
Okay.
But if it's not defrost and it stays hard, you could leave it right there. So whether it's 6 months or it's a year, it could stay in the freezer. And why I said date and time, it's so that when you go back to work, or let's say you didn't go to work, but you run an errand, you would take out the 5th of April and leave it for the baby.
Okay.
Don't boil breast milk.
So do you defrost it?
Okay, you boil a pot of water, put it in a container, and you take the bag of milk and put it in there and just shake it around until it's totally dissolved. It won't take long to dissolve because breast milk doesn't, it won't stay hard when you take it out and it dip in the hot water. So I was taught you don't microwave and you don't boil. You just get the container with the hot water and drop the whole bag in there. And you could just hold the bag and just do like this until it dissolves. And you will feed it warm because some people says the milk isn't good because it's yellow or something is wrong with it. But you will know that it's good because it didn't defrost, it didn't left out for 2 days. So you will know it's a good milk that you could give your baby.
Okay.
And another thing, breast milk is warm. And the mother will know when she's feeding the baby because she will see like the baby sweating.
Really?
Yeah, it's warm.
Wow, that's so cute. So they were sweating. How you said the more you pump, the more you generate. So how do you know when to stop feeding the baby? Is there such a thing as giving them too much breast milk? Like I see some chubby little kids. Like how do you know when enough is enough for them?
Well, the baby drink until he get enough. The baby's stomach is just about the size of his little fist. So when he get enough, he will stop. And the baby might say that he's there on the breast too long. But sometimes it's that connection, it's that bonding. And the baby feels so close to you. And you will find, when you're the feeder and you look down upon your face, he smile at you, he touches your face and what have you. So you will find that the baby is getting enough milk. All right. So, and it's warm so that you will be able now to say, oh, get enough. And if you want to break the suckling, to change the breast, because the breast is two, right?
Yes.
The baby not like two.
I noticed that some of them just want to latch on to one
Right.
breast.
So you could break the suckling, and if you break the suckling, you could put the baby to burp, but don't just pull the breast out the mouth. You will use your index finger, you will slide it in the side of his mouth, and curve it around the breast and slide it out. You don't just pull it out. As I notice, I see a lot of mothers just pulling the breast. No, you don't do that. Take the index finger, push it right there and hook it and bring it out. And the baby just accept. And you put on to the next breast.
I know there's such a thing as a greedy little baby, though. You must be able to stop them sometimes.
There will be one or two of them because as you try to take it out, pull it back.
And sometimes I notice like they just like you said, they just want to play. Like they're
Yes.
not hungry anymore.
And you busy, you got to go.
So you mentioned that you can store them for up to 6 months if it's completely sealed and frozen.
That's right.
If I don't want to freeze it, like I breastfeed this morning and I just want to use it maybe tonight when I get home, should I freeze it then?
No. You could leave it out.
I
You
could-
could leave it out, yeah. It won't spoil. Now, when you pick it up and you look at it, you will see it's just like if you put a cup of juice and it settles. It's the same thing. You will look at it and it will look as if though there's a little streak in it. All you do
Okay.
is shake it up. It's still good. You don't have, if you will feed the baby, you want to feed the baby up to this evening because, or you have to run an errand and somebody have to
Mm-hmm.
feed the baby from a cup, you could leave that out. You don't even have to put it in the fridge. No.
But if it's overnight, I should.
If overnight you don't have to freeze it either, you could put it in the bottom of the fridge. But if it's, it's long term, like putting it up to get ready to go to work. Like I was saying earlier, like 2 weeks before you go to work, you start put your baby on that schedule. Where let's say you work at the bank and you're going to the bank for 8 o'clock. You will leave home probably like 7:30. So your last feeding would be like 7 o'clock. So that when you leave 7:30, the baby will know that you're gone. So you start that schedule right away. So 2 weeks from now, I'm going back to work. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start today. If you're going to use a cup or a bottle, that's what you start feeding the baby with. So that same milk that you pump, you're going to put it there. And somebody else will feed the baby, not you.
Right.
So that the baby could get used to you being gone. So let's say you will come home at 5. So even though you're at home at 5 o'clock, you start feeding the baby again. And that baby will learn that routine. That baby don't even need 2 weeks. That baby need 3 days to a week. And that baby will learn that routine. And you could start having that baby on that schedule 2 weeks before you go to work. And all that time while you're home during the day, you just keep pumping and storing. Pumping and storing. Yeah.
Some women don't like to pump though. Is it painful or what's the issue with pumping?
The thing is, I have found that a lot of people want to pump and not breastfeed. So what you need to do is to tell them pumping do not help to produce milk. Suckling on the breast helps the production of the milk, not pumping. If you just pump, eventually the production goes lower and lower and lower till it's gone. But
Okay.
as long as the baby is sucking, like I said, the more suckling on the breast, the more milk production you will get.
That's interesting. I was just about to ask, is there, how do you know when the baby is sucking the right way? Like I know some people say it's painful and they have to take care of their breast, have to put Vaseline and uh why does that happen? Is it because of something you're doing? Is it the child? Is it
Right. It's something that you're doing. If the breast is cracked and broken, the nipples, it's because you were feeding the baby from the nipple. You should not feed the baby from the nipple. As I said, our breasts have this dark area and then the nipple. Now the nipple is just the passageway for the milk to come out. Remember I said earlier the reservoirs are right beneath the areola.
okay?
So when the breast goes in the baby mouth, you have to hold the baby in a certain way. When we come back in the other session, I will show you how to hold the baby. And if you hold the baby right and hold the breast right and put enough of the areola in the baby mouth, you won't have any pain. None at all.
I think that's a good point to make, that it's not just the nipple, like you said, it's the areola section as well.
Yeah. And if the breast is very full, it's a fact that the baby won't be able to hold it. So you have to get some of the milk out in order for the baby to hold it.
Okay, I'm enjoying this discussion so far. Please leave your comments below if you have any questions or maybe some tips or recommendation of how you breastfeed, what has worked for you, or what you enjoy about breastfeeding. We'll be right back. We want to get into some positioning on how to get the baby to latch on properly. So stay tuned with us and we'll be right back.
No make no sense at all. No kind of sense. That Belize video when I have that sign up there in China for.
That not in your Chinese at all, that in Spanish.
You understand what it said then?
Yeah. It said wear your face mask properly, cover your nose and your mouth.
Will help prevent the spread of COVID to others. Together we could make Belize safe.
Wear your mask properly over your mouth and nose to protect yourself and others. Together, we can keep Belize COVID-19 safe.
When we're deeply immersed in our routine, it feels like we cannot keep track of everything that happens around us. But we cannot ignore some crucial information. Especially when it comes to stewardship and Christian service, we need to be aware. Thus, to help you follow up on these important issues, Stewardship Ministries works diligently to keep you in the loop. Every quarter, Dynamic Steward magazine brings you relevant information and shares stewardship experiences from all over the globe. This magazine is available in digital format and can be seen at stewardship.adventist.org/issue archive. Once you're on the page, you can choose the edition you wish to browse. Click on Download PDF to have it on your device, or on all articles to read it online. Simple as that. You may also subscribe to the Dynamic Steward magazine using the following link: stewardship.adventist.org/magazine subscription. Write subscribe in the subject field and send a blank email to the editors. Feel free to take advantage of this valuable resource. Feed your mind with edifying and inspiring content. Like and share on your social media.
Putting God first can be difficult. What can we learn from Daniel that will help us put God first in our lives today? Daniel was a young man when he was taken into captivity to Babylon, the capital of the greatest empire the world had ever seen. King Nebuchadnezzar always took the best and brightest young men as captives from the many nations he conquered. He would then teach them the Babylonian science and religion, knowing that they would significantly contribute to the expansion of his kingdom. 10,000 young people were taken along with Daniel, and from them, the best of the best were sent to the palace. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were some of these. Their first test was with food. In fact, since the time of Eden, God's people have been tested with food. Food has been a representation of either devotion to God or rejection of His word. But in their case, putting God first could have cost them all the privileges afforded them, or worse, they could lose their lives. However, these young men decided to put God first, no matter what happened. They couldn't be forced or bribed to do otherwise. Faithfulness with their diets not only gave them superior physical strength, but, most importantly, greater mental and spiritual discernment. So, it was not by chance that they became the top students in the Babylon University. Later, Daniel would be put in charge of all other scientists, while his 3 friends would eventually become the top leaders of Babylon's capital city. All this because they decided to put God first. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were willing to be burnt alive rather than compromise. They said, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and He will deliver us. But even if He does not, We want you to know, Your Majesty, we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. As an older man, Daniel would rather be thrown into a den of lions than to stop praying first thing in the morning. But God came through again, and Daniel lived to praise him and become the prime minister of Babylon. Daniel put God first. His example compels us to do the same. As the deacons collect the tithe and promise, we are challenged to put God first.
Welcome back to our health program on the benefits of breastfeeding. We have Sister Tomasa here sharing her wealth of knowledge with us on breastfeeding. And when we left in the first half, we were talking about pain in the breast and how to deal with some of those issues. But there's a stage when you're breastfeeding. There's a process or a cycle, so to speak, in one breastfeeding, and we have some milk that you had on display here. Do you want to explain that process for me?
All right. You know, some people use formula for the baby. No, breast milk is by all accounts the very best, because if you mix a bottle of formula, you put the water and the milk and one. Now, in the breast milk, you will notice when you didn't have a baby before, but
No.
mothers will notice that the first milk is very watery. So if you look at this, it's almost like look like clear milky water, right? And if you look at this one look a little bit thicker,
Yeah.
right? This one looks a little thicker than this one. And if you look at this one looks very thick. So this is the way the milk comes down in the breast.
When it's going.
Right, and that's why we don't give the breastfeeding baby water, because the first milk is watery in one feeding, then it goes up. Because say it's the foremilk, the hind milk, and the mature milk,
Okay.
all in one feeding.
That's amazing. Like your body naturally regulates the water,
Explain it
how
the way God made it.
how thick it gets, and so you're able to feel that, like as it's
No, you don't feel that. You don't feel those changes. That is already there, set in the breast, and then it comes out. Remember what we were talking earlier? I said the reservoir is set right beneath the areola and then the nipple. And you were saying earlier about the pain. It shouldn't be painful if the baby is positioned properly to take the breast. And that is one of the things I'll show you now,
here.
where you pick up the baby,
Be gentle here.
be gentle with the baby, and put the baby on the lap. If the baby is very small, you will find some people move them on a pillow.
Okay.
But you don't have to put them on a pillow. But the positioning is what is important. If the positioning isn't the right way and they suck the nipple, you will have cracked nipples. Okay?
Okay. So I have to position them in a way that they will get the nipple and the areola.
Aha. The nipple will be up on the palate in the mouth. Way up. Way up. The piece of the areola and the nipple will be like down the throat. So you hold the baby like this. Some people were, oh, I need hand. Okay, so take the little hand and you put the hand at the back
Okay.
and turn the baby. If you notice, the baby belly is right by my belly. Belly to baby. And if you look at
Belly
the
to
baby head,
baby.
the baby head is this way, not up like that. Because some people hold the baby like this and just turn the head.
Oh,
And
okay.
the baby will not suck properly and will cry and will get basically just the nipple. So that is going to hurt. So you have to have the baby. The baby will be basically on its side.
Okay. Still belly to belly, but on the side.
And the baby face will be, the nose is going towards the breast. Then the
Okay.
mother will take the breast in the hand. These 4 fingers will hold the breast. And this thumb will help, and it goes in the baby mouth.
Oh, you have to place your
You have
thumb
to-
here and to help put the
And sometimes your breast is heavy because it's full.
yes.
So you have to help. So one hand is cradling the baby, while this other hand, the breast underneath, a hand underneath the breast rather, and this top
Four
one.
hands.
And when you do this, you will see that milk spring and it goes right in the baby mouth. And that's supposed to go cool. No, why the baby cry and don't want the breast is if you are holding the baby like this,
Okay. Oh,
and just the baby head
and then if
turn.
you have them turn their head and you don't have them
So
belly.
if you turn your head and you swallow, tell me how you feel.
Right.
Imagine the small baby doesn't know. So this is one position. Another position could be where you take the baby, turn the baby,
Okay.
turn the baby the next way.
All right. Let me be gentle.
Ah, no, this bottom put the same next hand.
Mm.
No, don't turn the baby. Just your hand.
Just move my.
Put it underneath. Head in the hand underneath. The
Okay, this hand. Okay. Oh,
the baby to the breast. The baby
Okay.
head will be in your hand, and this is called the football hole. And there's
where's the baby foot? So where the
right here.
okay, it's closer to me. So my hand is under there's okay. And then I put the little hands.
And then you put
I got scared just
and
now.
then,
Poor baby.
then you go again. You hold and you
So
help the baby.
4 hands underneath, my hands on the top.
4 fingers underneath. One
I situate.
Never do the cigarette hole.
2 hands, 2 fingers.
The 2 finger, the cigarette hole as we call it. When you do that, you press the reservoir and you push back the milk.
So the 4
And
hands.
that will
underneath.
cause the baby to not feed. And you cry because you know they get nothing. And then you
Because
on the nipple.
right, some mothers say that I can't, like I don't have no milk and the baby don't want take my breast, want it.
Positioning is
Positioning. So the baby never does not want your breast. It's because of poor positioning.
what we do, yes.
Right. Oh
The
wow.
amount we put in the amount of the breast we put in the baby mouth. And also you could have the same position but lying down in bed.
Okay.
And you could help the baby while lying down, hold it. Because some people get cut. They have by C-section, have baby by C-section. And then they say my cut hurt or something.
Okay.
So
So
positioning
I
is
would come on this side to lie down and have them on this other side here.
right.
So I would be leaning
the
over here.
football hole would be nice for
Football.
mothers.
This is a football hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you say they
I'm afraid of this hole because I feel like just having their head in my hand here and I feel scared.
normally you will set a pillow to
Okay.
help your hand.
All
You
right.
will set a pillow, right, to help your hand and hold the baby and hold the
Okay.
breast.
So this is when they're much smaller though. I wouldn't try this when they're like
No, when
Like-
it's big, you can't hold it.
yeah. So this is when newborn.
Yeah, when they're
Wow.
small and you could turn them around. If you find you have a colicky baby now, it
Mhm.
would be how you hold the colicky baby. You will put the baby on the hand. Yes, they have for you to hold them under here. You have the breastfeeding pillow that goes right around, but you could use
A specific pillow to breastfeed. You
I
ask for a
just-
breastfeeding pillow.
They don't offer that at the hospital, but I know people buy them. It's a pillow that goes right around. You know the neck pillow that you travel with?
Uh-huh.
They have one for the stomach.
Okay.
But you could use a
for me.
regular pillow if you don't have.
I've always seen just the regular pillow, so I don't know, the breastfeeding pillow is
Yeah, they have a
interesting.
breastfeeding pillow.
Okay. I'll
You-
try it with
it's a
the
new thing.
football hole because
Yeah.
I'm not confident with the football hole.
All right, so regular hole, and also
Wait, what's this one?
for when the baby have colic.
Oh man. Okay.
So you
How
put
do
the
I?
baby to lie on the hand, and you hold the baby like this, and you just
So I turn them over.
turn them over. You see face, they're like right here, so and when you hold them like this, sometimes you hear them burping and
Okay.
passing gas. Right?
I feel like I'm doing this wrong.
No. Good.
Okay.
Also to burp the baby, usually burp the baby between meals, between feeding, and also you rotate the breast too. So you have to remember, oh, I gave the left breast. So next feeding, oh, I'm going to do the right breast. And the next feeding, I go back to the left, then I come back to the right. Always rotate the breast because you want to have 2 same size breasts, okay?
What? Also, if I don't rotate the breast, one is going to be full all the time, and the other
One will be
Okay.
big and one will be small.
one will be big and one will be small.
Also, too, mothers tend to do like this to burp a baby.
Okay, so they just
Best
hold
way
them.
the best way to burp the baby is to take the baby and put the baby on the shoulder like this,
All the way up.
all the way up, You see where your head there?
Mm-hmm.
And then you could tap the back a little bit
Okay.
or just rub it. Just rub
Okay.
it.
Until they
And
burp.
yes, and the baby will burp. If you notice how high the head is, till it could almost rest on my shoulder.
Okay.
Hmm. So those are some of the little techniques that mothers can learn to help them along with the feeding and the burping of the baby.
Okay. I have to work on this because I feel like I'm not so confident with holding the baby.
Okay.
You said that you have to burp them. Is it after every single breastfeeding?
Yeah.
Every single one.
Especially for small baby. You
Okay.
should put them up to burp, yes.
So if I breastfeed 10 a.m. and then I go back for some reason at 12.
If you are rotating the breast in one feeding, when you take from this breast, burp, or it may not burp, but put the child up here and see if you could burp, and then put it. But sometimes the baby are so gassy, you could almost hear the gas
Mm,
in the stomach. So what you do is try to burp the baby. And
okay.
sometimes the baby cry and cry and say, but I just feed the baby hungry again. The baby is not necessarily hungry again. The baby might feel uncomfortable with the
Like
stomach,
that's
maybe gassy or something. Or sometimes if the baby keep crying, you do not have to feed the baby right away. What you could do is to take the baby, check the baby pampers, see if
mm-hmm.
it's not tight, because sometimes the tape cutting on the legs.
It's on the legs and not.
Sometimes a little piece of thread from the clothing or something is hooked up on the child, or maybe the way you were holding the child. So you would pick up the child and maybe do some things like this.
Okay. I've had friends who've breastfed already, and they really complain about the cracked nipples and it being full and what are some of the conditions and how do you relieve them, like with the cracked
All right.
nipples? How do you
Cracked
treat that?
nipples, this is the cure right here.
The same breast milk?
If the nipples are cracked, what the mother do, squeeze out some of the fresh breast milk and put it in the hand and rub it over the
Areola.
area that is cracked and or like
So
that.
you don't use Vaseline?
No, Vaseline is going to dry it up.
Okay.
You don't use oil, you use the same breast milk.
You see.
And then when you're about to feed the baby, now you could wash it off and then feed the baby. But
Okay.
just the same breast milk. And if you're in a room where you have a little privacy, what you can do is don't wear a bra, and early in the morning, even with the breast milk over it, stand at the window for a few minutes in the sun.
In the sun with
Yes,
the milk
with
on
the
the.
milk on it, and then you can wash it off.
Oh wow.
That has relieved it. It's the same breast milk. You see, breast milk has antibodies, Remember I said it's like a vaccine for the baby. It has antibodies in it. It's the baby's antibiotic. So it helps you to.
You said to stand without the bra on. Like, is it healthier to like not wear bra at all? Like when you're breastfeeding, or should you try to elevate the breast, or what is it with the?
You have breastfeeding bra. And it would be nice to wear the breastfeeding bra if you have it. If you don't have it, what you could do is wear, we have these little thin strap blouse where it holds the breast in place.
Okay, yes.
You could wear that too. Those are
Okay.
very comfy.
But if you
But you
don't,
don't want nothing too tight.
okay.
Because when the breast get full, if there's something that is pressing on it, the breast will get engorged.
I've heard about that, and I think there's a condition called
Mastitis. If the engorgement, when you see the engorgement, when the breast is too full, and then the baby can't suck it and the milk is there, you could develop mastitis. You will see the woman will start have what we call it, she have fever.
you can get fever.
Yes, but what you do is you have to try to get the milk out of the breast. And I like to give the simple, cheap way.
There's a cheap way.
When I was young, we didn't know about all this information that I'm telling you. Grandma give you one comb and start to comb.
You comb the breast.
Yes.
You comb.
Comb it right out. Take a comb and you comb it out. There's a lot of technical and medical take a comb and comb it, manipulating it, and it
But
will
it doesn't hurt
no, 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 no.
when it mastitis, when it's engorged like that. That doesn't
Try to
hurt.
get from not having mastitis.
Oh, but when you do have it already,
When you do, it might give you a fever. You will end up at the doctor, and sometimes the doctors don't understand how to take care of it, and then it might get one abscess because all of the mastitis and everything get up in a one day.
oh,
What we
so
call one
sweet.
bile
Yes.
in the breast, and then you have to squeeze that and take it out. And then some people don't want to breastfeed while doing that. But when that is, remember, I tell you the reservoir is under here, right? So you could breastfeed. But people, you're afraid because that is already hurting. So what you do to not reach that stage is to comb out that milk. Squeeze it out. If you have a pump it out and keep the breast where it's manageable.
Okay. Have you had any experiences working with you said you visit people and you help them, anyone with mastitis, and how you treated that or you dealt with that?
I usually get the engorged breast.
Mm-hmm.
And the engorged breast is I help to take it out. What I would do, I would use hot water and towels, rags. I would get a basin
Mm-hmm.
with hot water that I can manage and the person can manage, and put the rag in there, and I'll put it within another rag and squeeze it out and take that warm rag and place it on the breast. You could do hot, then cool, hot, then cool. But a lot of us, grandmother say hot and cool, no good for you. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't beat grandma down. Listen to grandma. Okay? But it would be nice if we do the hot, we do the cool. We do the hot, we do the cool. But sometimes I think there's just a few people I use hot and cool. Everybody say if we hot, we hot.
Okay.
So the grandma say hot and cold no good. So we listen to grandma, and you put the warm rag all over, and you will see it releasing. Sooner or later you see it dripping out of the breast. And once it start coming out, you continue do that until it's released. I met a woman who had engorgement and she didn't feed two of her children. And this was her third child. But because of the experiences that she had before,
Mm-hmm.
she said no, no, no. And she had already not breastfeed for 2 weeks. And I worked with her, and after working with her, she ended up breastfeeding that baby for like 3 years, she told me. And she had two more children after that, and successfully, and I mean exclusively breastfeed the others.
I was just
But
about
it's
to
a
ask
mental thing.
because if I ever develop, let's say, that engorgement and I had to go through all of that, like, can I breastfeed again?
Yes, that lady successfully breastfeed for 2 years, 3 years after that.
I think that would have deterred me.
It's you have to be patient, and this is where a lot of mothers give up.
Mm-hmm.
They give up because they say, "Oh, I can't do it. Miss, it hurt. Miss, that hurt." But like I said, if you do it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
nothing will hurt. Because immediately when you feel the breast start getting full, you'll get up and take a pump and pump it out.
Okay, so
And
that's
if you don't have a pump, squeeze it out. Just use your two hand, the comb and your two hand. You don't need nothing else.
you've shared a lot of information with us this morning. I'm so happy to have you, Sister Tomasa. I'm sure you guys have benefited, and maybe you're pregnant or breastfeeding right now. Would you mind sharing your information so that if you have questions, you can still get in touch? Because from what I understand, you're still in the business of doing counseling and assisting. So how would we get in contact with you?
Well, they could call my number and we could,
Mm-hmm.
626-2692, Mrs. Tomasa Smith.
All right. All right. So in the near future, God willing, maybe you will get a phone call, right, sis? Because I can't think of anybody better now to share my concerns with.
So
Or
easy it is, right? It's not a lot of complication.
you were talking just now, and I'm like, this sounds a little bit scary. But then you mentioned the benefits, and when you explained how you developed some of these painful things, it's really not because of your inability or something. It's just
Knowledge.
Yes, it's just knowledge and
Knowledge is power.
correct. So I hope.
I did it. I didn't breastfeed my first 6 children exclusively because I didn't know. I remember at 3 months the milk is gone. And after learning breastfeeding and studying breastfeeding, God blessed me with a child. And I did everything I learned, and it was easy.
Easy.
And Even though we were taught that baby has to be on the breast for the milk to come, my baby was 1 week in the NICU and didn't touch my breast. But I produced milk. I produced milk. I remember going home from work and my boss, Mrs. Eva Middleton, she saw me packing up. She said, Tomasa, what you have there? I tell her breast milk. I was taking home like 20 ounces of milk per day when my child was at home. 20 ounces of milk.
Wow.
10 from one breast and 10 from the other breast.
Super mom.
So it's a mental thing. If I tell myself I can do it, you can do it. I had a lot of milk. I shared milk.
And this is after you say you got the knowledge. Knowledge is power. So I hope this morning you women feel empowered. And dads, if you're watching, you can share the tips as well. So thank you once again, Sister Tomasa, for sharing with us. And we hope to see you back again with us here at 18 for another episode of Defining Your Health.
Amen. Thank you.